Hello, everyone. Quinn here. And yeah, now I'm a little late to the party in the patch notes. Sue me. I had stuff going on this weekend. Usually they release patch notes on a Monday, but they did on a Wednesday, which kind of aren't my days off of work. So, I didn't have enough time to dedicate myself to a video during that time. But moving on. They are not adding any new content. That means maps, cosmetics, anything with this update. So instead, we're going to get straight into it here with, well, patch notes. So first up is going to be mostly balancing changes, not so much bug fixes, but that's going to be for the five perks introduced with Danny that gave you a stat boost when you were at 5% health. Now they changed it so when you are under 20% health, these will activate. So that is a big change that they should have done years ago. And this is half the problem, which I said in my last T-Steam related video, which was they are too slow to do anything. I don't know why it took them so long to do this, but moving on along. We have Bones' Gore Bomb. Some people are mad at this because they technically nerfed the radius for its Gore Bombs. However, that is technically a buff because making his radius bigger didn't do anything but blow up multiple family members. I'm so mad at myself for not saving the clip, but I had a one game where I was hitchhiker, and then there's a Bones that trapped Grandpa. He was in the process of feeding him, and then Bubba's chasing Anna down past Grandpa. This is in gas station, by the way. Towards the basement, and Bones' stupid bomb blew up both him while he was feeding Grandpa, so he had to go get himself up from the stud and feed him again. But also, he stunned Bubba, and guess who wasn't affected by the bomb? Anna. Anna manages to get away from Bubba because that stupid Bob and it lives another day. We still ended up killing everyone, but again, that could have gone a lot worse if, let's say, Anna ends up escaping later on because she didn't get killed by Bubba there. So, trust me, his bomb radius being smaller is a buff. He needed way more than a bigger radius for his bombs to actually be useful. So next up we have Nancy's Herdum. This is actually a huge change to this perk. As I said, this was horrible, and in my Nancy rework video, I was saying that this should have just completely reworked to something else. But they are giving it a new effect where after a victim has been caught in a trap, for every second that they're moving, they will lose 1 HP for 5 to 30 seconds. This is going to make Nancy's traps a lot better, as generally most times where you get a victim to run into one of those traps, they're in a position where you are going to be chasing after them and forcing them to run with that trap on. So until they get over like a barricade, go down a well, someplace where the family can't pursue them, this is really going to make this perk rival Venom. And I actually wonder if this would be reset if they go back towards a gap with that same trap on, or was it just a flat 30 seconds? But we'll see that next week's video when I get some time to use some of this stuff and see how that goes. I could definitely say I'm going to respect Nancy because I certainly don't have heard him right now, her tree. The next up, we have Hange's Barge. This is a simple one. Basically, when Hange's Barge is a victim, he now will have the damage he does in the barge scale with his harvesting. I think usually it does around 5 to 9 blood or something like that. So that's actually going to be pretty cool when you land a barge. They also fixed a error where Hange's Barge, where it wasn't giving the right stamina back. I'm not sure if that means he's going to regenerate more or less stamina, but they've also fixed a bunch of stuff with perks that affected his barge, such as Spring Cleaning and Blood Runner. Connie's Star Sign ability, they fixed the fact that it didn't instantly let you unlock something. I honestly forgot all about this being bugged, and I wish they didn't fix it at all, as her ability has been broken since the technical test, and the fact that they just nerfed the regen speed on her, her ability and call it a day is just pathetic to me, as that's such a strong ability. And for it to have been untouched all this time is just exactly one of the reasons why this game went downhill like it did. But moving on along. They fixed a Leatherface exploit that allowed him to run in place. I never knew about, well, how to do it. I seen like Alucard do it, but I've never been able to do it myself. So I'm not really upset about it. I just usually ran into a wall if I need to basically run in place to bypass that. But it sucks for all you Leatherface mains who enjoyed that little tech. They fixed Grandpa's sonar during close encounters where it did not properly highlight victims. I didn't really notice that generally when I'm sorry, when they win the close encounter, they just get away anyway. You can't really discern where they're going unless you physically see them. Lock picking minigame. They're fixing the fact that it wouldn't automatically like rotate up to the top where I'm picking. That's not a big deal. I think there's some people who stressed about it, but all it really did it was. I honestly wish they didn't fix that, as it's kind of annoying to have to hold it in place. I don't understand why they made it automatically lock back up. But moving on, this is a huge one right here. This is something I've asked for at this point. Yeah, I could say years, and that's going to be the fact that when Bubba hits someone with an overhead, they're able to animation cancel out of it. They fixed Virginia being able to animation cancel out of her overheads and stuns with her powders, yet they didn't fix that with Leatherface. So this would be great, especially with Leland, as generally now when you hit Leland overhead, he's not going to be able to barge himself out of a stun. So that's going to be huge. And if Leland's not running no cell, he lost his stacks, you're definitely going to be able to kill him a lot more often than you used to be able to. Cook, Packlock, Progress, Reset. I don't. I thought they fixed all the issues with Cook's padlock, but basically this is going to stop him from being able to reset progress on locks and all the other nonsense now with his padlock. So that's great. We have Sissy's poison items. They said they fixed when you have the poison item level 3 pickup locations, where it wouldn't highlight victims when they grab the poison item. Unless they're talking about the little noise indicators you'd get from it. I don't know um, if this would really fix anything, because I personally would love it if it made it so they actually highlighted red when they're poisoned, like they do when you run into the smoke. Which is, speaking of which, they're also fixing the fact that when they're running high tolerance, the victims wouldn't have their highlight disappear sooner. So even though they're not poisoned, they still be highlight. So that's a good fix. Danny being able to bypass hands' electrical traps while inspecting, they're fixing that. Match ending, they're fixing an issue here that caused players to have endless games if the final victim disconnected. So that's being fixed. Uh, I'm not sure exactly what this is, but they're saying that next match, wrong cues. Players will no longer be sent to the wrong cues when they play consecutive matches. So I'm guessing if you keep playing consecutive matches, let's say if you're queuing for family, it randomly switch you to victim. I haven't seen that. I've seen weird ones where I go to quick match and I'm in like a 2-3 minute queue, and it's like, really? I'm pretty sure if it just did family, I would have already entered it, but whatever. I guess quick play is not there just to help smooth the queues and send you to the more desirable rule, but moving on. Clear eyes. They're fixing an issue where clear eyes are not showing poison water valve tanks at the mill. I didn't even realize you can poison the water valves at the mill, but I'm guessing you're gonna need a level 3 for the poison electronics for that. That definitely would make me want to run that on that map next time assisting and check that out. But moving on, knock knock. They're fixing that perk not working on the mill. I don't even know what that perk is, to be honest. Deadpool. I thought they fixed this a while ago, but yeah, it wasn't properly giving the extra time to barge open doors with that. Flight in flight, they fixed an issue where that activated as soon as you want a close encounter instead of after you're out of the animation. That's actually something I think I noticed a while ago, but I still never really ran fight or flight, despite the fact it seems like a good perk. Back for blood. I'm not surprised to hear this, but apparently it was not decreasing Grandpa's level properly. There's no way of knowing for sure as a victim how but you're decreasing Grandpa's level until they feed him again. So yeah, again, it doesn't surprise me that that was bugged for who knows how long. Master Key, I heard about it being bugged and giving you infinite charges, but I never used that perk except for a few meanie times when I was level up with Johnny. Hey, Sissy, I'm glad they fixed this. Is the big issue at that perk where if you didn't even interact with Sissy's powder stations as Nancy, it still blur your vision when you use your ability. I still wouldn't recommend running that perk, by the way. That blurry vision you get from that is nauseating. Rescue Medic, apparently that wasn't giving you the proper extra health when you're using it. We have Nancy's traps and Bones of Gore bombs, as well as Leatherface breaking down doors. Basically, whenever those two use those abilities to break down a door, if Nancy were to trap those areas, you wouldn't be able to disarm it. I wish I knew about that as soon as I could exploit it. Completely honest here. We have poison inconsistencies. It says they're fixing issues where the victims weren't consistently being poisoned by the generators and batteries. That's even more reason to not have done it in the past, but it should be good now. They fixed Bones' Gore bombs where there was a collision issue when trying to trap stuff by escape volumes. So now they're fixed it so he'd be able to put them by those areas, but not exactly on them. Wyatt's knife throw, they're fixing the fact that it was not disarming Nancy's barbed wire, something I showed off in a video a while ago. This is a huge one here. I'm not sure if I'll be able to find a clip of it. If I do, obviously you'd be looking at it now. But this is going to be the audio with Leatherface's chainsaw on Nancy's house. Basically, the way this worked is if you were in the garage, you would not hear Leatherface's chainsaw unless he's in the garage with you. This led to plenty of moments where Victor could be unlocking a door in there, and Leatherface just come out of nowhere and just hit you because you didn't know he was coming until it was too late. So I'm glad they're fixing that. It's a shame that it took them literally like 2 years to fix this. As this has been an issue since Nancy's house has been added to the game way back when. They have fixed the issue where victims will be able to skip the knockback animation from Leatherface overhand slam. I thought we already said that earlier, but I might have been mixing it up with the one that I'm going to mention now, which they're going to be fixing the fact that Leatherface's overhead wasn't working properly when victims were going through gaps. I believe it was Wales as well. So that's good because that made the Leatherface feel pretty crappy to use. They fixed a bunch of issues where you were separated with your parties in the game, as well as fixing an issue with Nancy that prevented her trap. Oh, we already said that. That's the bubble one. Um, they fixed the issue here with gaps on the mill where you'd be able to hit victims on the other side of a gap. I know there's a really bad one on Family House in the basement where you'd be able to hit them through the long gap in Leatherface lair, but I've never seen any gaps on Nancy's house that's be able to hit people through. I know hands sometimes that hit you when you're gapping when he probably shouldn't have, but they fixed the issue on Nancy. I'm sorry, not the Nancy's house, on the mill where Sissy wouldn't be able to poison health items by the silos. If I'm not mistaken, that's by the battery gate, the one that's like kind of it leads up towards the second store, the second floor of the mill. I've poisoned items over there plenty of times, so I don't know what they're talking about there. Speaking of Sissy, they're fixing the Don't Touch achievement, which I believe is from poisoning 10 items. I got that years ago since the game came out, so I wouldn't be able to know whether that was ever bugged. So for you people who don't have that, yay, it might be free. They fixed hiding volumes on the mill, so I'm not sure what that means. They're making the grass and stuff taller or shorter, but regardless of doing that, they're fixing the issue where Johnny's door barge prompt made it seem you had to press it twice. Fun fact, I actually thought you always had to press it twice when he first came out. I'd always double tap the button to break down the door until I finally realized you need to do it once and you automatically barge it that second time. For you PC players, they're fixing the issue with the preset 2 where it was showing the wrong button prompts for Hansa's barge. They have fixed the flood area on the graveyard where the water speed of the flood going down was a little unnatural, so I guess it's gonna be a little slower. I can definitely say they look a little off when I looked at that too. They fixed the Xbox crashing issue, so now when you play multiple games on Xbox, it should crash less. And also fixing a bunch of private game issues with Rush Week, such as the title crashing multiple times after playing from Rush Week, the fear meter not going down in the car when you're calling the police, map UI showing multiple maps. That's obviously because they scrapped their plans in this game early for who knows what reason. And as a result, whatever second map they may have been working for Rush Week is gone. So why have multiple maps when it's only going to ever be one map? And again, they just fixed a bunch of like door prompt for latching doors not showing properly, crashes from museum mode when you're accepting invites. Again, just a bunch of private game issues. I'm sorry, I don't want to mention because I don't play private games. So that's going to be it for this. Like I said earlier, I am going to be playing this game a bit, get my thoughts on some of the changes, and then I'll be back hopefully before Saturday to give you guys my thoughts on, which is probably going to be a second before last update for this game, as I'm expecting whenever they update this game, probably in July to be completely honest, it's going to be an update where it's just going to say, all right, peer to peer, maybe it'll fix whatever straggling bugs, but I'd be shocked if it even added any cosmetics or anything. For example, I'm gonna say it now. I'm gonna say it again. Danny has cosmetics has been in the game literally for years. They haven't leaked it. It's like I can't even say it's leaked. It's like you see him being killed in these outfits, like recolors is the default. Yet for some reason, you have never been able to use these skins. Like I really love it. If the final update for the game, they gave us those skins for free. I don't know why they haven't given it to us yet. They could have even had us pay for it. I would have bought it, but it's just like really strange. But again, that's going to be it here, guys. So I thank you all so much for watching. And as always, if you haven't already, get a life.